I think it's a really hard question, because how do we place values on one thing over another? You know, I love literature, I love film, very important work going on in the sciences, very important things going on in every field of life has a, you know, extreme importance. So I don't come with a huge fan base view on comics or anything really. I'm interested in so many different things. So to single it out and relate it to the second part of your question, I think the power of images to persuade people to think things or to orientate themselves in different perspectives, that the combination power of images and words and the sequences of images and words and their graphic design together is a powerful mode of changing the way people think. But it's only one mode of changing the way people think, and every artist creator will have a different story to tell, and we'll all have to take something different from it.
As Hugo already said, I will not answer the first part of your question, since anything can be important as provided you do something interesting with it. I told you something about photo novels, and the situation of photo novels today is, let's say, much more problematic from that point of view than comics. There is an agreement today on the importance of comics, aesthetic, historical, ideological, whatever you can imagine. In the case of the photo novel, there is some work to do. But anything can be, nothing is important well, everything is important. You have to make it important and to show that it's important. But that's a kind of stereotypical answer as well. How do I see the future? For me, the future of comic studies is very bright, and I'm very happy with that. But I think that the future of comic studies will even be brighter if it manages to, let's say, to build bridges with other fields, visual studies, art history, but also literature, while currently there is a tendency to replace literature by comic studies, and I'm not very happy. I think it's harmful for comic studies itself. And the other danger I would like to mention is something, and we may not be aware of that always, is the fact that comic scholarship is still a young discipline, and there is still room today for, let's say, specialists and amateurs. And often amateurs do know the comics field much better than we as specialists. We know people in Belgium who have never been trained in whatever you can imagine, but who I consider the real specialists. But their way of, let's say, writing on comics, or their way on speaking on comics, is very different from our way of doing. They use a different terminology. They don't have scientific claims and things like that. And I'm afraid that, let's say, there might be later on, it's not yet the case, a gap, a divide between the world of, let's say, fandom, but in the serious sense of the word, and the world of scholarship, like we see in, for instance, in fan fiction. Well, I don't do it, but a lot of people in academy are currently studying fan fiction, but those who write fan fiction are never taken seriously. These are the equivalent of the silly housewives of the 50s, since we all know that fan fiction is written by women. And even by a certain type of ladies. When you go to the Jane Austen fan fiction, it's 99%, 97%. But these people are not taken seriously, which is a pity, since they have a kind of hands-on knowledge of the field. And I would be very happy if the future of comic studies would continue to would be capable of maintaining that dialogue between those who do something with comics on a daily basis and those who study it. I think it's very important in actually in humanities in general.